Thank you for being here. Uh, Today we want to talk about digital transformation process and about a Latin American organization called Mercocities and Mercociudades, and about a special case called in the city of Tandil, where we've been working in a digital transformation process. So to start, we want to show you a short video of what is Mercocities organization. We are Oscar Teruggi. He's the government secretary of Tandil. And I am Santiago, Lima. I work for the IT cluster, and we work in digital transformation. And we'll be talking about this kind of projects and how in Latin America we are working. So we want to see a video about what is this Latin American organization called Mercocities.
Nacimos en 1995, inspirados e inspiradas por una integración regional diferente, respetuosa de la diversidad y con la vocación de construir una ciudadanía participativa y sin fronteras.
De las 12 ciudades originarias, llegamos a construir en más de 2 décadas la red más importante de América del Sur, superando las 300 ciudades de 10 países del continente, en las que convivimos más de 120 millones de personas.
En estos años, al igual que las ciudades, crecieron los temas de interés y acción.
Cada año, la Cumbre de Mercociudades convoca en un gran evento a gobiernos, organizaciones y a la ciudadanía en general.
En este espacio, alcaldes y alcaldesas de nuestra región debaten y definen en asamblea las prioridades de Mercociudades y se reúnen todas las instancias de trabajo de la red.
En diversas regiones y a escala mundial, nos acompañan y apoyan organizaciones amigas.
Los gobiernos locales pueden solicitar la membresía. Las organizaciones sociales nos acompañan a través de convenios y acuerdos y las provincias y estados de la región participan como colaboradores.
Más de 20 años de trabajo por ciudades democráticas, participativas y descentralizadas, saludables y respetuosas de los recursos naturales.
Ciudades inclusivas, igualitarias y seguras.
Educadoras, creativas y conectadas.
Súmate a Mercociudades, participa en sus proyectos y convocatorias, comparte tus intereses y desafíos y ayúdanos a construir una región más integrada, inclusiva y sustentable.
Okay, so this is Mercociudades organization. They worked thinking in the region, but they worked locally in every city, in every member city. One of these cases is the city of Tandil, and we are going to talk about this special case about digital transformation we've been doing the last 2 years. So let's talk about Tandil and where is it. Tandil is placed in a very beautiful natural environment. It is near the capital of Argentina, Buenos Aires. It has 140 population. It has three main productive sectors like tourism, IT, and agriculture. It has an IT cluster that is one of the top 4 IT clusters in Argentina. It has 3 universities and is the 3rd best city to live in Argentina. So, in this context, the local government, the municipality, has been working for many years in technological projects like those here. They have mentions, they have award winners, they have been working in several of them, but all of them are like separated initiatives. They are not all developed or designed strategically in a master plan or in a strategic plan. They have 2,300 employees and they have 10 main areas called secretariats. When we get there, we found the typical situation in this kind of organization. We have separated silos of design thinking and execution. That leads to multiple solutions for the same problem. In the different areas, they try to achieve the same goals with different solutions. We found no protocols for IT acquisitions or management. We have, of course, infrastructure problems. And we found that the employees in the administration were not trained for many years in technological skills. So this is the picture we have 3 years ago, 2 years ago in the administration. But with Oscar here, the Secretary of Government, 2 years ago he starts a new phase. He starts this digital transformation process, and he took 2 main decisions. The first was the creation of the Subsecretariat of Technological Innovation and Citizen Participation. He created a team that will be working in this area. And the second was his vision about that the solution has to come with a joint venture of private sector and public sector. So he called us, I am from CEPIT. CEPIT is the IT cluster, the private sector. So he chose us as the co-working and leading actor of this transformational process. So we began working in 2017. But before this, I want to talk to you about what is CEPIT, what we do, and what is the added value we can give them to this project. CEPIT is the IT Companies Association of Tandil. We've been born in 2003. We have almost 1,500 employees. We have 50 active members, 50 companies in the cluster. One of them is an unicorn. Maybe you know it. It's Globant. At least 5 of these 50 active members are now multinational corporations, and 50% are native companies. The 50% of the companies are born and raised in Tandil. We have a great entrepreneur activity. I also want to show you what kind of services and what quality we we provide in Tandil. So we want to show you what kind of clients or what are the clients we have in Tandil who buys software and software services in Tandil. These are some of the clients we provide services. So we have the knowledge, we have the know-how to do this transformational process because we are doing it with our companies in these clients. And when Oscar called us, we said yes, okay, let's begin the digital transformation project in the Tandil administration. The first thing we did was to change the name. We call it not a transformational process, but a modernization process. Because we want to use a word that has not so much negative impact in people, so we choose the word modernization. So we want to talk about it is a digital transformation process, but for the people we want to call it modernization. We build a roadmap for the process that starts with strategic analysis and design. We use a top-down approach. We begin with the top management of the administration, and then we go down. The first step, as I said, it was the strategic step, and we want to talk about this, and later we want to discuss the other steps. So the first thing we do with a small team, with the people from Oscar office and our people from CEPIT, was to define a vision for this project. Tandil City has a vision, but we want to define what we're going to do with this project, and this is the final vision we get. And after we have this vision, we begin to work in 4 axes or in 4 big areas. We began to think strategically in IT modernization. That means mostly infrastructure, communications, buildings, facilities. Administrative modernization, that means processes, training for people, and things like that. Smart cities, that have to be with urban mobility and things like that. And open government, that where we work in open data and transparency. So this is the 4 main axes we want to work. For each of them, we define a series of strategic objectives we want to achieve. There is administrative innovation. This is an example of 4 strategic objectives we define. And at this point, we have the vision, strategic, and the strategic objectives. But this one defined by a group of 6 people, the top management. So we want to validate this, and we were to work with the rest of the top management. We gave them this work we've been doing, and we asked them to add, to drop, or to edit all the objectives they want, and we want them to classify them. And this is what we finally have. We have more objectives than we've defined. There were many problems that we haven't seen. So in this activity, we take a big picture of the situation. What we have here is that mostly all of the requirements were by the administrative modernization, as we can see, and IT modernization, that means infrastructure. So we have very few things in smart city and open government. The key problems here were administrative modernization, and that was a good point of start for us. So here we have the vision of the top management. But then, once we work with that top management, we want to go down, and then we start working vertically with each one of these secretariats or main areas, and we work with them with specific problems. They were in touch with the citizens. They have the daily problems, so we want to hear them, and we ask them to tell us all the operational problems and strategic problems they think they have. So we get a big list of them, and with this list we make a list of preliminary proposals. That means that is projects we propose them to solve their problems. This is an example of one of the secretaries, and we don't want to give them a big book of 500 pages nobody will read. So we want to give them more agile documentation and tools to work. And we design this kind of graphics. That means these are the list of all the proposals. And we classify them in two categories: transversal or general proposals. That means that these projects were think and designed for achieve objectives not only in one area, maybe in two or more, or maybe in the whole organization, so they are transversal to everyone. And the particular ones that were just fixed for this secretariat. But we also want to give them some other information with this. We classify them in the time of execution this project will have. It's not seen here, but here we have the short terms projects. These are the projects we believe we can achieve in less than a year. Here are the mid-terms projects. That means we think that in between 1 year and 3 years we can deploy them, and the long-term ones that were more than 3 years. And we add an additional dimension for this, and was the priority we think they should have, and this was made with the colors. This is the priority of this project. So we have this combination, for example, of maybe some projects that were for a long term. They took more than 3 years to complete, but we think they have an urgency to start. Maybe Oscar and his team didn't finish them because the change of the government, but we think they have to start right now. So they have a high priority, like the number 5. So this is a tool we gave to every director, to every secretariat of these areas, but we think they need something more. So we came out with this kind of graphic that also shows the preliminary proposals. All these circles are the same projects that we have before. They are grouped by the problem they attacked. For example, the ones here have to be with infrastructure, communication, layouts, buildings. They are put together. Here we have some project that has to be with collaborative work, with strategic meetings, with digital agendas and so on. And this is the mapping of these projects. We also have the bigger ones. The bigger ones, we think they are the ones that will have bigger impact in the administration, so you graphically can see them. The other thing we do, these little circles are the problems they told us they have. So this is a mapping between problems and solutions. In this graphic, we take many things. We have the impact of the project, we have the correlation between problems and solutions, we have the correlation between them, and we also have the colors have to be with the project that was already ongoing, because life doesn't stop while we are doing this. We have more problems coming all the time, but at this time we made this picture. We have the gray projects ongoing. So this is not all. We think we can provide them more tools for decision making. So in all this process, we have seen many other problems or situations that we want to tell them. We call it barriers because they are not a typical technological problem. They are more like cultural problems. They have to be with people. They have to be with training. So we detect all these barriers and we put them in this kind of graphics so they can see them. An example of these barriers could be the lack of communication, the lack of cooperation between the teams. And this is the kind of barriers we show here. So what we've been doing was to work with the top management. Then we work vertically working with each area. And for each of these areas, we gave them a final summary of these problems. So they have this kind of picture. Every secretary has one of these. We have some numbers and statistics for the activities we were doing. Here are the list of the problems they gave us. Here are the barriers, the classification of that problems into the 4 axes we talk. And this is the 2 graphics I just explained. So this is a map every director, every secretary has, so he easily can take a look at where he stands and what he has to do and what is left. So this is one of the deliverables we gave them. But we think we can do a lot more, so we came out with a final activity. We came back again to the top management. We told them what we've discovered. We told them the whole picture of all the secretariats. And we want to make them work. So we prepare an activity where we have these high-level proposals, technological projects, and we explain them, what we want to do, and we ask them to classify them in 2 categories. First, we want that they can measure the impact these activities could have. And the other was the effort they think that it would take to accomplish these proposals. So we have, this is the real picture, not the names, but the real picture they came out with the activity. We have, for example, those here. We discovered that they have at least 4 projects with a big impact that demands not so much effort. So this is a good plan or a good way to rank priorities. We have a lot of projects with a big impact, but with so much effort. But this is an idea that they didn't have before this, and now they have to think strategically, to decision making. So this is what we've done in these 2 years. We've been working with them. So now I'm gonna tell about the future, what we are thinking to do from tomorrow. Again, with this roadmap, the next step is the organizational cultural awareness. We want to start. And then we want to begin with all the tactical and operational plans to all the organizations for all the secretariats. So we begin with this organizational cultural awareness. We are thinking in a series of activities. One of them is to make a humor theater play. Remember that we have 2,800 employees. We've been working in this strategic work with at least 40 people that is the top management. So the rest of the organization is not aware of this. So we want to now go down to the organization and reach them. We think in a humor theater play because we want to lower anxieties, we want to dispel fears. We found this idea that maybe could work. The idea of the play, it has to be written. It's not written yet. And we want to work in anecdotes. We want to tell histories that they actually have, the daily problems they have, with humor to lower anxieties and lower barriers. We want to make the casting actors between them. We want that they act this play. But this is just one action. We think in a comprehensive plan. We want to reinforce this with a campaign of regular messages, with messages like this. We want to say you are the change. This change is with you and not without you. Because we are talking about people whose jobs maybe they have their jobs with fears in this process. So we want to dispel these fears. We think in WhatsApp groups. We think in viral messages. We think in new ways of communication. Not the usual report or the intraland of the organization. We also are thinking in sitcom series with short episodes following the idea of the theater plays with humor, short episodes that shows the situations, daily situation they have, and that with technology or with this transformational process they could solve more easily. So this is what we are thinking about awareness. This is a long-term project. We are not gonna have an easy impact on them unless we continue doing this for many years, but we have to start it now. The other thing we want to do is to work with top management. We have, as I said, we have to develop the tactical plans. We have to design them and execute them. We want to give them the new vision of government 3.0 vision. We think this is the future. We have to develop skills on them. And we are thinking in this kind of activities, we want to help them to make strategic meetings. That means not the board meetings that they actually have. Strategic meeting has to be with, we have a problem, let's think all together about the solutions. The board meetings they already have to be with, I am a secretary, I have these problems, and I want to work in this. It's just an informative reunion. We want to change that. We want to work in idea generation and facilitation techniques, so they could work on this. We want to work in the concept of servant leadership, that is a change of mind. The paradigm here, the actual paradigm in this organization is the hero leader that could do anything and could save the world. So we want to change that. The other thing we want to do, and I think it's one of the most difficult of them, is to put Lean Startup as a methodology. We have to work on the ideas and the culture about what is a fail. We have to fail to learn, but this is a main change in minds. And the other thing is that all these people is very busy, so they don't have time for these strategic things. So we want to intervene their agendas and make them a slot in them so they can take time for these things. The other thing we want to do is to work in actual processes and we want to work in improvement the existing processes with the idea again of a lean thinking approach. We want to provide what citizen wants at the time and in the amount required with high quality and low cost. This is the idea, this is our north, but we have to start with continuous improvement. This is a typical quality improvement process, but this is what we want to do as a framework. We want to work hardly in project management in all the areas. We have there's some things that don't show here, but this is an iterative process. When we finish, it starts again. We want to work with this framework. They don't have actually a management methodology, so we want to take this again, agile everywhere. Another things and ideas and projects we have in mind was the expansion and improvement of IT infrastructures. There is many of these projects we are putting all together in a strategic plan and design. We want to keep working in administrative modernization. We want to begin with RPA, that with robot automation. This is a new idea. We have to work on that along with administrative modernization. We are going to implement more collaborative platforms like corporative mail sharing data, sharing files, all these kind of platforms. We have detected at least 3 or 4 projects where we can use blockchain, and we're going to do it in the next 1 or 2 years. And we are going, again, work with a framework called SAFE, but this is just the ultimate agile framework. So this is a quick picture, a big picture of what we've been doing in Tandil in this digital transformation process. This is all I have to tell you. I want to show you a short video about what is Tandil. So this is Tandil. We invite you anytime. So this is all. This is our contact data. There you have a landing page where you can check all this information and get in touch with us. And now we are going to open to questions. So if anyone wants to ask something, that's the time. Thank you for being here.